Hi, I'm Jalen Rose, and welcome to the Renaissance Man podcast, proudly presented by the New York Post, a show where we cover trends in fashion, entertainment, current events, and everything in between. My next guest is the ultimate OG, NBA legend Charles Oakley. He's one of the greatest rebounders that the game has seen, one of the most fiercest competitors, yet one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And in his new book, The Last Enforcer, you're going to get another chance to get to know the big fella. Outrageous stories from the life and times of one of the NBA's fiercest competitors out right now. It is my honor, OG, to welcome you to the show. Charles Oakley to the Renaissance Man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be on the show.
Thank you for joining me, family. And as you know, I know your history and your lineage and your story, but I want to introduce you to the Renaissance Man audience who probably doesn't know that you grew up in Cleveland. And
Yes.
what was it like for you growing up in Cleveland, and when did you discover your love for the game?
You know, my story growing up in Cleveland, basically like every childhood, you have a story of when you're small, everybody always throw you a basketball and you don't know what to do with it. But growing up in Cleveland, it was a lot. I had to walk to school, catch two buses. You seen a lot on the streets, corners, guys doing things. It's just the inner city. You see that. You got the liquor stores, you got the grocery stores, you got the hustles, and
Mm-hmm.
I seen all of that. But I made it to school though. That's the most important thing.
So, as somebody Midwest born and bred like yourself, can you give everybody a snapshot of what that looks like for a high school Charles Oakley who wakes up in the morning and has all of these distractions before he needs to get to school, and then all before he starts to play sports? So, what did your landscape look like?
Wow, good question. It was tough last day. Yeah, it's two buses to school, but another good thing was I had brothers and sisters, so kind of push you out to make sure you went to school. We never went to school at the same time. I was the second to the youngest, but my sisters, two of my sisters went to school at the same time. So the school I'm talking about is John Hay High School. It was on 105 in Superior. It was live. It was like being in Vegas back in my era, going to school in early late '70s, early '80s in high school. It was a play. It was a guy named Winston had the whole block. He had after hour joints. He had clubs. He had this. He had that. But at the end of the block, it was a McDonald's, and that's what we all got together at. Before we went to like get to school early. McDonald's across the street. For lunchtime, we would come back there, but it was tough. I could have got sidetracked a lot of times, but like a lot of my other friends did. But some type of way I made it to school and stayed in school, and I got out of school and then I went from there. But it was tough growing up in Cleveland because the streets was definitely it was jumping.
And those streets, again, make sure you check out his book, The Last Enforcer: Outrageous Stories from the Life and Times of one of the NBA's fiercest competitors. Those are words that are always used to describe you: enforcer,
Right.
competitor, fierce. Who were some of your biggest influences growing up?
Wow. Number one was my grandfather. He was the man who did. Um, Growing up, it just happened. My family they trying to get out. Mother was hustling, working two jobs, and I was the kid that tried to always make it back home before it got dark. And I used to go to the pool hall, the barber shops, and hang out, but stayed away from trouble. But a lot of my friends I grew up with got in trouble. It was bad growing up because a lot of my guys turned to drugs in junior high, didn't make it to high school. Uh, but I found some type of way.
When did you start to take basketball serious?
It was tough, Jay. And to this day, I still see I just left Cleveland. I see a lot of the guys. a lot of people say, don't go back to the hood, this and that. But haven't had a problem, knock on wood, things and came up, but no serious problem going back home and, and visit family and friends. So it was, I made it out. A lot of guys didn't. And a lot of my guys I just seen last few years coming home from doing 20 and 25 years in
Mm,
jail.
mm. And,
Yeah, it was tough.
and that lifestyle that you're describing, like seeing people in your neighborhood being in and out of the jail, going to the pool hall, all of the distractions. When did you decide basketball was going to be my way out?
Um, well, Jaden, I played football too. I was pretty good in football and basketball, but when I got to my senior year, I made a decision. Before I went to Virginia Union, I said I'm gonna stick with basketball and leave football alone. I had scholarships in football, but when I got to Virginia Union, they wanted me to play both, but I just stuck with basketball. So I went on down there for 4 years. I came home one time in 4 years. That's how bad it was. I didn't. People they didn't know where I was at, but I didn't. When I came back the next time, I was in the NBA. So
Mm.
I ducked a lot. I ducked a lot.
And you mentioned it. You attended the historically black university, Virginia Union in Richmond,
Yes.
where in
Yeah.
1985 you were named Division II Player of the Year. In
Hmm.
October, the NBA also announced this year in your hometown of Cleveland, they're
Yes.
going to be doing HBCU basketball games. Do
Right.
you feel there should be more done to support HBCU athletics? And how do you feel about the NBA trying to show support this year at the All Star weekend?
Well, I think that from the George Floyd thing to a lot of stuff going on, it's a push for for Black people overall because they get a chance to voice their opinion more, chance to get more business minded, chance to live a better life. Um, so what the NBA doing is a great thing. I think Chris Paul doing a lot,
Hmm.
involving with the history of Black college. I think it's great because when I went to school, like I said, most of the schools and they have a lot of state funds. So a few Black schools closed down during my era, but it's good to see that it's a reboot to the kids in history college opportunity that can say world. And that's the most important thing now. It's growth.
Absolutely. And as somebody that attended U of M, as you just mentioned, can you tell somebody like me or even a high school student what they get when they go to a HBCU? And what did I miss? Because I used to always be jealous of what I saw, the great bands, the great parties, the great like celebration of our people.
It's like home away from home because they're not big schools. I think the biggest, probably FAMU, a few other schools may have 10, 12,000. Most of the historic Black schools got maybe anywhere from 1,500 to 4,000. So it's not a big campus. So basically everybody's in everything together, all the fraternity, all the, the locals, and the most important thing, uh, everybody always talking about homecoming. It's like a
Mm.
Super Bowl, homecoming,
Mm.
because all the older family, all the older people who went to school, all come back and join for that one big day. Football team. You always try to play somebody you're gonna beat at homecoming. You don't want to lose your homecoming. You do not
Right.
want to lose the homecoming. But you can just see. I've been going back since day one. After I left, and it just see the people. They come up to you, they show you love, but just people just have fun. It's like a getaway. It's like going to Kings Island, amusement
Mhm.
park, or something, because they all come and have fun and everybody just enjoy one another. All the step shows and everybody just show a lot of love.
You played 19 seasons, big fella, in the NBA. And I was fortunate enough to play a short period of time with you with the Bulls. But you
Right,
started with the Bulls, you ended with the Rockets. But you
right,
spent 10 years with the New York Knicks. And you're
right.
considered one of the most beloved athletes in New York sports. Can you
Hmm.
tell me one of your favorite playing memories with the Knicks? In 1994, I picked that year because you had 107 starts that season.
Right. That was, hey Jay, that was everything happened that year. 107 stars. I played more games with the playoff and regular season than anybody. I was an all-star. I went to the NBA finals. I can never forget that 94. Where we lost to Houston. But being in New York for 10 years, I mean, I got to meet so many people, entertainers, professionals, on just everybody. It's just there was the golden years, the 90s. Everybody was talking about the 80s, the New York in the 90s. Oh man, it was incredible. I had so much fun. Only thing I hate didn't happen was we didn't win the championship. We didn't give people what they really want. That's your favorite line, the OJ.
Yeah,
The people what they want.
yeah.
They wanted a championship. I feel sorry. I couldn't be part of the championship team in New York.
And with that authenticity, the people gravitate you because you earn their respect by the way you perform on the floor, but by the way you carry yourself off of it. One of my least favorite NBA moments is watching you be harassed by New York Knicks security and ushered out of the building because their
Yeah.
owner, James Dolan, asked them to do so. Talk
Right.
me through how your relationship got to the point with him that he doesn't want you at Madison Square Garden.
Right. Well, one, I don't really know him because when I played there for my 10 years, it was his dad. He made the transfer, took over from his dad. But his thing with me, I comments in the paper many times that someone asked me a question about the Knicks. How many games you think they're gonna win? Da da da, this and that. And I'm a straight up guy. I mean, I'm looking at what they got. I mean, if they gonna win 41 out of 80, 82, I'm gonna say that. If they gonna win 25 out of 82, I'm gonna say that. He don't like that from me. But everybody, on TV saying it, on commentator. I mean, I didn't play under him, I played under his dad, but he just, I guess my comments got to him, but he shouldn't have took it personal. It's a story. Somebody asked me a question, I give my answer. So I got a story about him. So one day, All-Star in 2014 in New Orleans, he went World West in Harris Casino. I'm with LeBron, Mad Rich, the whole Cleveland crew. We out there. So West come from in the back and come and holler at us. They had something's going on. So Rich Paul don't speak to West at all. Matt, Braun Professor Matt, and I found out why he didn't speak to him anyway. He come out, oh, I'm back here with the owner. I said, who? He said, the owner of the Knicks. I said, I never met him. He said, okay, let's go in the back. So I walk in the back with my guy Jacob, and we come back there. So West said, Mr. Little, Mr. Oakley. And I said, how you? I put my hand out. He don't even turn around and shake my hand.
Oh,
I mean, like, I started hitting him in his head, being real. I'm gonna be real with you. So I said, man, this some BS. So I go back out there and I tell the crew, like, he said, no, really? He said, don't worry about that. We ain't going to New York anyway. So I wasn't gonna let him mess my weekend up. But I guess he's just a real big controlling guy. So if you don't dance to his music, he gonna put you out the party.
well said. And as you have earned the respect of New Yorkers to the point where people believe you're from New York. I know I don't have to tell you this. Like you put on so much for the
Yeah,
city and having businesses and spending time.
yeah,
People think you're from New York. So I have to ask you, Julius Randle recently was playing poorly, and the team
right,
was. And he
right,
did the thumbs down signal after he
right.
made a basket to the fans
Mm-hmm.
as out of spite because they were booing him. What is your advice for playing in New York for an athlete like Julius Randle?
Number one, that's the wrong type of city to. I mean, especially in a game, if someone paid their money to see you play, and you give them the thumb up or down, unless you talk to one person that we don't know what you're talking about. I think it was in the heat of battle. These guys is young; they don't understand these cities. Um, I just wish he wouldn't have never done that because some city like New York, I don't think they're gonna never forgive him because he's not playing well this year. The team is a 500 team, and the fans expect more because last year they was a 4 seed. Now they were a play-in team, so they ready for you to do this thumb down, do it to the other team on the other end of the bench, not your home team because the home team, they gonna come and they gonna do what they want. Fans do what they want to do, and when you paying that much attention to the fans, I mean, you're not on your game. You don't get involved with the fans because if you can't control the fans, you control what happened with that hardwood. So I just hope they forgive him, but it ain't gonna be easy. Maybe they get to the second round of playoffs, or something, but bounce back and second half of the season have a better half than first half, and the team can do better. But you don't play with New York fans or Philly fans at all.
Agreed. And as you talk about the fans in New York and how LeBron may have considered at one point, but didn't end up coming to New York, what do you think about the Lakers season and LeBron, the way he's playing at an MVP caliber level, but they're under 500? Do you feel like he's going to win another championship with the Lakers?
That's a big question. And the way they're playing, it don't look like they're going to make the playoff. I know what LeBron's going through, what Jordan went through his first 5 or 6 years in the league, trying to build a team to win a championship. And he's the main guy who can build a team. And he's struggling doing that because the pieces he hoping they work, he's trying to make they work. He's always a team first guy. Nobody on the bus. He gonna stick with what he got. Hopefully they can make a trade. If not, he gonna play with it to the end of the season. Then next year they'll make adjustments. But right now, I mean, they got a lot of talent, but it's old talent. You know, they got player ball talent. You know what I'm saying? The new school, they say it's a new space now. It's a new. All the young guys say it's our turn. So I just hope, like I said, for his sake, he won another ring. That's why he's still playing. He's not playing, I don't think because of money. He got all the money. The first billionaire ever played while he's still the first black NBA billionaire to play while he's still playing in the league to make that kind of money. But he was playing to win a championship. I just wish AD would come back and play like the AD did when they won the championship. Westbrook adjust his game to what they really need him to do. So they got some things to figure out, not just playing now for the play-in. Now you got LeBron James. You want to play for the top 2-3 seeds and win the championship.
So you're from Cleveland, so of course you're gonna rep your boy LeBron to the fullest. You played with MJ. You're basically his bodyguard and enforcer, as we all see it. Who's the GOAT, Oak?
I gotta tell them all the time. It's cornflakes and frosted flakes. It's MJ then LeBron. One got the sugar, one got the flakes. But hey, two different guys. I mean, sometimes I rather match LeBron up with Magic and match Kobe up with MJ. You know what I'm saying? But everybody want to go because LeBron did so much longevity. 18 years in the league. Not really no big injury or anything, and playing at a high level. Nobody never done this before. So MJ had his time when he came to Washington in the last 2 years, but he didn't play like what LeBron doing. But they getting the same result like a 500 team, and I think LeBron, he's not planning to be 500. He want to win another ring.
So, can you tell me one of your favorite stories of being teammates in Chicago with Michael Jordan?
Favorite story? I mean, my first 3 years with Mike, he took me on his wings, and he took me to the All-Star game my rookie year, and we just had so much fun. And that was the first time, into the NBA, expect to be going to the All-Star game with a guy like Michael Jordan. But a good story. I mean, just so me and Michael used to catch we on the way back then we'd get dropped off at the airport. We didn't have a place like private plane. It was regular flights. So one day was going to the airport, me and him, and I was riding with him. And so it could be doing 100, 150, whatever. He just get in the car, hit the gas. So we was going to the airport, and he had one of them vets. He in Chicago, Corvette, 10 Blazer. Vet. So it was like, one day trip, come back. So we was in the car going to the airport, this and that. I said, MJ, they go to police. So we doing about 90 already. He he hit it about 120, 150, and the car came behind us. Next thing I know, I guess they called ahead, and it was like 5 cops just waiting on him. MJ went past them. So when he pulled over, they like, "Where you going?" He said, "I got a flight to catch." "Oh, you Michael Jordan. All right, go ahead. Slow down, okay?" So, it was just crazy. Me experienced that. This is his second year, my first year. I was like, "Damn, you got that kind of pull?" He said, "I'm MJ." So it was just
Got it.
like he liked fast. He liked he liked to drive fast. He liked fast cars. So I'm just it was just a great for me just to be in the car with him. But he do drive fast.
Now that's hilarious. And for those that don't know, as I mentioned, you're an NBA legend and a man of many talents, including cooking. And I've been telling people for years that you need a cooking show. And now you
Yeah.
have one. Chopping It
Yes.
Up with Charles Oakley premieres this fall on
Yep.
Fox Soul and features you showing off your culinary skills and breaking bread with guests like T.I.
Yes.
and Scottie Pippen. Where did your love from cooking come from? And what have been your favorite moments of the show so far?
My love for cooking coming from my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts. All were great cook. But I'm a picky eater. So my thing for you to be picky about food, you better learn and understand food. So that's what I did. But over the years, like guys were like, "Oh, let me order first, then you order," because I will get my order in first because we know we're gonna take you all day to order. So with the show it was a great thing with Terrence, your homeboy, he's from Flint,
Mm-hmm.
and he came to me. We had shot a scissor reel about 5 years before, and we were just holding it. He said one day, "Oh man, this is gonna be the #1 cooking show out." So basically, Lisa Ray and all them people. It was during the pandemic, right after Dance with the Stars, and I got a chance to shoot in L.A. and Atlanta. So Scotty, Lisa Ray, Ti, Jim Jackson, Emma from Dance with the Star. Everybody said yes. A lot of people said no because the virus was, it was out here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate to get 10 to 12 different shows during the pandemic. So it came out great. It was fun shooting because the thing was every celebrity I had to cook your favorite meal. And that was the challenge. And I, not just cooking what I cook all the time. So I'm cooking the celebrity favorite meal. I had a ball and I can't wait for season 2 to come out.
So, oh, that means you're exquisite with your hands in multiple ways. Anybody that can hear me right now can Google Charles Oakley fights. So, usually, a guy that has great culinary skills isn't the one that throws the best hands. So, I have to ask you, as a man of many talents, what are
Right.
some of your more memorable, I guess, skirmishes in the NBA?
Uh, I mean, you try not to get into them, but you got to protect yourself. Never try to be a bully. Just try to be an enforcer. That enforcing me, not you know a copy. Making sure I try to make sure everything is right. Everybody's cool. That's my enforcer. But I can probably say I got into Otis Thorpe. He bowled me one time, and he looked at me. He bowled me again. Threw a few punches. Not really NBA. They try to get to it before it get out of hand. So I think Paul McKessie from Milwaukee, he bowled me one time in the mouth. And when somebody playing a little dirty. And
Uh-huh.
I could take one, but I ain't taking two in the same game. You get me one. So basically, every time if I got into it with somebody, it's the second time. I let the first one go.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going 3 times. I'm going twice. But it was good, man. When I came in the league, you had to protect yourself. So the early '80s and late '80s, you had to be able to use your hands. That's why Barkley never got in a fight because he couldn't use his hand.
You used them against my Detroit Pistons. Got Doug
Yeah, but
Collins all into the fight. Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that? Recall? Can you
yeah.
recall what happened that day?
Well, I guess it was a foul call, and one thing led to another. Rick Mahorn come, and Doug Collins tried to jump on. The bitch cleared, and that was one of the biggest things, probably, in my first few years to see that the whole two teams that going at it. But it was a lot of tension, though. I think the Bulls was Detroit was standing in the way, and the Bulls were trying to take over Detroit. But I got traded before it got a little more physical. But it was like that in the league. Teams were feisty. Teams didn't get along because everybody was trying to win and get to the playoff and go to the championship. So you can understand why it was a lot of it was a lot of tension. So I mean, it didn't get real bad, but it was some tension out there, and guys let you know sometimes. We got to go now. They didn't wait till you got to the locker room to the bus. Go now.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to handle this right now. We ain't pass and go.
Right.
And lastly, and again, I appreciate you joining me. I'm going to
No,
also write a
appreciate it.
column about this interview. And
Yeah.
before I get to our Gone in 60 Seconds rapid fire, I have to ask you again, the memoir, Last Enforcer, outrageous
Yes.
stories from the life and times of one of the NBA's fiercest competitors, is out right now. And it features a foreword by the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and
Wow.
details about his life, details about your life in the paint and beyond. But I have to ask you, what's the biggest thing you hope readers take from your book?
The biggest thing I hope readers take from the book is the consistency in that me as you saw me in '85 to I retired and to now, my production off the court, helping people give it back, the consistency of just being a guy who true to life, guy who can be true to people in the world today. Just just like this book is like bringing you home, make you want to go to church and make you want to be more involved with your family. This book and just show you how I defend so many people I've been around because I've always been the big brother. I looked out for a lot of people. You know, when you came to Chicago for the few
Yep,
months, what I did, invite you
absolutely.
over, cook for you, make sure you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got the peoples out here, make sure you're okay. So
Yep.
I'm just a genuine guy, just like, I like to see people smile, I like to see people happy. When they read this book, they can be real happy.
I love that. I love that. And you deserve it, big fella. 19
Thanks. I
years in the
appreciate it.
league,
Yeah.
putting on wherever you go. I appreciate your influence in my life. So I want to thank you. But before I let
Thank
you
you.
get out of here, I got a rapid fire segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. You ready to do this?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. You coached the team and you coached in the big three, killer threes. I'm sorry,
Right.
3-2-1. You coached the team, the killer threes, in the big 3-3. No, say that twice. You coached the killer threes in the big three, a
Right.
3-on-3 basketball league founded by the OG Ice Cube. Name one retired player you love to draft.
Retired player, I love the draft. Woo! Jamal Crawford.
Great guess. That's exactly where I was going to go. If you've been paying attention. You've been paying
No,
attention. You out there like a GM. I see you.
yeah.
Name one guess you love to have it on Chopping It Up with Charles Oakley, and what dish would you make them?
Uh, Queen Latifah. I would make her some sea with Brussels sprouts and
Mm,
carrots.
You hear that, Queen? I got
I
to get you
like
on Chopping It
queen.
Up with Oak. We're going to try to make that happen. And then, as I mentioned, the NBA All-Star Game is in your hometown. The fans are going to
Yes,
be flying in from near and far. What's the
yes.
one food spot everybody got to hit in Cleveland?
Woo! Wow. They probably gonna go to Blue Point. Blue Point or Grill 55. Grill
Grill
55. It's
55.
new.
And what's the spot
Yes.
you take me to downtown also? The
They
beginning.
closed now.
Oh,
They
they closed?
closed. Yeah,
Oh,
they closed.
man. I love going to that spot.
Yep.
Man.
Yep, my guy closed. Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he put a ball in the playoff in there. We set it down.
I know. I love that spot so much. When the Cavs
I
was
know.
going to the finals all of those years, we used to get it in there.
Yeah,
And before I let you get out of here, one more question. Name
no
one
problem.
current NBA player whose game reminds you of yours.
I'm happy to give it to your hometown guy. I mean, he's a little better ball handler than me. Draymond. I'm gonna give it to Draymond.
Absolutely.
I don't see nobody else. He run the league right now. I like what he's doing. Keep doing it, Draymond.
Absolutely. That's why I voted him as a starter in the All-Star game over Rudy Gobert. I appreciate you taking the time, family. You're doing big things as always. Looking forward to breaking bread soon.
I appreciate you. A lot of love.